Did you know one single order in World War II might have changed the entire map of Cold War Europe? It's a story of ambition, politics, and a moment that stopped one of America's most famous generals, George S. Patton, dead in his tracks. It's the spring of 1945. The war in Europe is nearing its end. Allied forces are pushing deep into Germany from the west, while the Soviet Red Army is storming in from the east. At the spearhead of the American advance is General Patton's Third Army, a force known for its lightning-fast speed and aggressive tactics. Patton, ever the warrior, had his sights set on two massive prizes: Berlin, the heart of the Nazi regime, and Prague, the capital of Czechoslovakia. Believed capturing them would be a huge symbolic victory and give the Western Allies a stronger bargaining position against the Soviets after the war. His troops were moving so fast, they were actually on the verge of outrunning their supply lines. In April 1945, Patton's forces were roaring through southern Germany and had pushed into western Czechoslovakia. They were just miles from Prague. Patton was practically begging his superiors for permission to push forward and take the city. He argued his men could be there in less than a day. Imagine the scene: American tanks rolling into Prague, liberating the city before the Red Army could arrive. It would have been a monumental achievement. But then, the order came down from the Supreme Allied Commander, General Dwight D. Eisenhower. The order was simple. For Patton, absolutely infuriating. Halt, stop where you are, do not advance on Prague. Patton was stunned. Why would they stop him when victory was so close? He saw it as a massive political mistake. A decision that would hand over Central and Eastern Europe to Soviet influence on a silver platter. He famously complained that they were stopping for no good reason. So why did Eisenhower issue this halt order?
Our order.
It wasn't about military cowardice or a lack of will. It was about grand strategy and a promise made between allies. Months earlier at the Yalta Conference, the leaders of the Big Three, Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin, had agreed on demarcation lines. These were the zones that each Allied army would occupy once Germany was defeated. According to that agreement, Czechoslovakia, including Prague, was designated to be liberated by the Soviet Union. Eisenhower, a man who valued Allied unity above all else, was determined to honor that agreement. He had other practical reasons too. Pushing on to Prague could have led to a catastrophic friendly fire incident, with American and Soviet forces accidentally clashing in the chaos. Also, Eisenhower's primary military objective was to destroy the remaining German army, not to race for political objectives that might fracture the alliance. He believed the war needed to be won first, and political squabbles could be dealt with later. He saw a push for Prague as an unnecessary risk that could cost American lives for a city they had already agreed to let the Soviets take. So Patton's Third Army stopped. The Soviets, as planned, rolled into Prague a few days later. In the years that followed, Czechoslovakia fell behind the Iron Curtain, becoming a communist satellite state of the Soviet Union. This has led to one of history's biggest what-ifs. What if Patton had been allowed to take Prague? Would it have prevented the communist takeover of Czechoslovakia? Could it have altered the balance of power in Cold War Europe? Historians are divided. Some argue that taking Prague would have been a powerful symbolic gesture, but would have changed the overall outcome. The Soviets had a massive army occupying all of Eastern Europe, and one city likely wouldn't have stopped Stalin's ambitions. Others believe that an American presence in Prague could have provided a crucial foothold for democracy. It's potentially inspiring resistance and changing the political landscape of Central Europe forever. We'll never know for sure. But what we do know is that this one single order given for the sake of Allied unity and grand strategy stopped one of history's most audacious generals in his tracks and set the stage for the decades of division that would define the Cold War. It's a powerful reminder that in war, battles aren't just fought with tanks and guns, but also with maps, handshakes, and political promises. The story of Patton's halt outside Prague is a fascinating echo from the past that still resonates today. Thanks for watching. If you found this piece of history interesting, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the echoes of war. See you next time.